it's not looking too hot. And 3 years in a row of late springs and early winters are enough to move the climate needle for real.
Oh, hi. You've caught me watching my own videos. Just kidding, folks. I wasn't really watching my own video, but man, oh man, I just need some space. What about you? Do you need some space? And since I need some space, I'm talking to Tess here. Tess Clark. We've had many conversations on the Electric View conversations, and I wanted to allow her to plug her YouTube channel. So here's this YouTube channel. Head over there and like and subscribe. It's called Tess Mythos, and we've left links to that in the description below the video. Tess, how you doing? Everything sounding okay?
Yes. Hi, Daniel, and
Excellent.
hello to everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the video.
Thank you.
What's the deal with your YouTube page? What's the subject matter for the viewers so that they understand what kind of content you're putting up?
Yeah, it's well, I just started this. I have a website, and I decided to make a few audiobooks of my ebooks, and I also have audiobooks on my website, which is you can find linked in the YouTube channel.
In the About
And
section,
it's basically, yeah, it's basically a combination of, well, I've gone into based on the electric universe, David Talbot and Velikovsky, and anything that I learned from the electric universe, and getting inspired by Velikovsky's books. And I read his whole books archive, and I went to the sources. I decided to go and check them out and just read more about what he was talking about, and I kind of wanted to fill in the blanks that he stopped talking about, because he couldn't take on everything. I mean, there is so much out there to discover, and so I was curious about the beginning, like as far as I could go into the beginning of things, and then also after 500 BC, which is when he stopped talking about catastrophes. And yeah, and I also noticed that maybe he missed a few events from Venus in about the time of the destruction of the Temple of Solomon, I think around 1100 BC. There was a lot of interesting things there. So that's what I decided to do. So it's a combination of mythology, sacred texts, chronologies.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the destruction of the Temple of Solomon? Because I've done pretty extensive studies on King Solomon. There's a lot of very interesting texts. I have a couple of them saved on my hard drive. Some very interesting demonological works going on in there and stuff. It's very, very odd stuff. What was the scenario with the destruction of Solomon's?
Do you mean like Lucifer? You're talking about Lucifer?
Not just that, a whole compendium of demons. I could probably
a lot of demons.
It's all kinds of crazy procedures about wearing white colored cloaks and casting spells and doing all kinds of bizarre stuff. But what was the destruction of Solomon's temple all about? Can you tell me more about that?
Well, catastrophes. Yes, catastrophes. And I don't have my tab open, but I know that. Well, I know there was that destruction of the temple, and then there was also during the time of the Essenes in 70 AD. There's a lot about that 68, when the Dead Sea Scrolls were written, that a lot of people dismiss as hoax. And so, I mean, I know it's not the same time frame that we're talking about, but I'll go back into what you're saying, the 1100 BC of the Solomon temple.
So that was 1100 BC, I think you said?
Yes, it's around that time. I think that Solomon and David reign, or one or the other. I have to go and open my.
Yeah, I think Solomon might have succeeded David, but yeah, there was something like that. They were around the same time for sure.
Yeah. Yes, well, yeah, I was wondering why Velikovsky didn't go into that, because it's like a big thing. Maybe because he was Jewish, he didn't want to talk about that. I don't know, but his father was a rabbi, and he got a lot of good information from the sources of the rabbinical sources, which are very complete, and they were all high priests in every religion, were the keeper of the knowledge, and they were recording things that they were seeing every day. If there was an eclipse, they would record the eclipse. If there was like weird comet showers, they would write that down. If there was a horrible earthquake and and destruction, they would write that down. And so they were like the keepers of the incredible amounts of knowledge of everyday life that was happening.
Okay.
So I guess he went there and got a lot of that. And then here, let me go. All right.
Interesting.
So Solomon reigned in 1015 BC.
Okay.
David reigned in 1048 BC, so before Solomon, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yep. So it was around that time because of the destruction of the Temple of Solomon. So, well, there was a
Fantastic.
lot of migrations. There was probably the Venus. I think it was Venus because you see the pentagram, Solomon's seal. It's Venus, right? That's supposed to be.
Don't quote me on it. I haven't opened up those apocryphal documents in ages. They're somewhere
Well, it
buried
could
on one
be.
of these hard drives, but
Yes, Solomon. Okay. So King Solomon, circa 1000.
was an interesting guy.
Yeah. The tribes divided into two kingdoms during his time. The kingdom of Israel at the north was formed by 9 tribes, except the tribes of Judah or Yehuda.
Oh, okay.
Benjamin and Simeon, Levi among them, so they divided. The kingdom of Judah, Yehuda, Benjamin and Simeon ruled under King David and called themselves Kingdom of Judah. And there's a website called HebrewNations.com, which I suggest people go and research and look. They have a lot of articles. And it's really interesting to understand what's going on in the world now because it goes back, like why the wars are continuing now. They started from the time of Abraham. And you're like, what? Okay. No wonder.
Okay.
The 9 tribes of Israel went on exile by Assyria, becoming the lost tribes of Israel. So that was about the time of the lost, when the tribes had to go. They left, and they left because of catastrophes.
I see.
And that's the migrations. That's when migrations all around the world occurred, and new kingdoms come up, old ones go away. It's because of catastrophes. So people are trying to survive. They move around. They go to different places. And then I have also in my books a description of the whole migrations of the Aryans, and a lot of people are very interested in the Aryans and the Ashkenazi and what's going on with that. And I have gone into all these, which I think is very interesting too.
Now, the destruction of Solomon's temple, was that something that appears to be a plasma discharge event kind of a thing going on, or any indication?
Yes,
and was there anything built on top of the old temple? Because I know there's a tendency with ancient cultures to build things on top of old sites, such as Göbekli Tepe and the pyramids.
Of course. Definitely. Well, yes, you have the gigantic stones underneath, right? This huge megalithic stones underneath the Temple of Solomon, and those are really ancient.
So Solomon's temple also would have been built on top of something older, perhaps.
Yes, like the Baalbek. Do you know the size of the stones in Baalbek?
I'm not sure. I'm not that big of a...
megalithic stone blocks. They're humongous. Now, what's his name? Brian Forrester has done a few videos of this, or he shares a few videos on the Temple of Solomon and the megalithic blocks. So people can go and check them out and see how huge they are.
Oh, wow.
Underneath the temple. Yeah, underneath. And then on top, the blocks are smaller and smaller because I think that the larger they are, just like everyone has mentioned, they were created when the gravity of Earth was different, or the conditions of electromagnetic conditions, the plasma sheath, the atmospheric conditions, and where we were in the solar system, it was all different. So people were able to move these gigantic blocks, and it seems that their size was also bigger, the skeletal size of humans. So everything was different.
Jeez.
And animals were big and everything. And then, the behemoth and all that described in the Bible, it's not a joke. They're referring to this time when everything was big, and all the giant skeletons found throughout the world, like described by Zimmerman. And let's see, there's several people that talk about it. The skeletons, the giant skeletons, and sometimes they have 2 rows of teeth and 6 fingers, but I don't think that was the norm. I think that was maybe some kind of mutation, which was also occurring at every time there was a catastrophes. There was catastrophes mentioned by the time of Abraham, and mutations, big mutations that occurred at that time. So that was the time of Sodom and Gomorrah, about 2100 BC.
Okay.
Where humans lost their gigantic size according to the rabbinical sources and the
Oh, geez.
Talmud.
That's really
Yeah,
weird. You're talking only roughly 4,000 years ago.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
very recent. Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna definitely watch some of your videos today. I haven't seen these yet, as like I said in the Electric View chat.
Well,
We
it
have a
should.
little bit of trouble seeing what we want to see when it comes to YouTube content. You know, YouTube being the second largest search engine, second only to
Yeah.
Google's search
Mhm.
engine.
Yes.
I don't know what is going on with the algorithms over there, but they do not
Yeah.
work right at
Well,
all.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's learn to code, Google. I don't know what the deal is. It's one of the largest companies in the world. You think they'd be able to hire programmers to write effective programming code, but
Yeah, well, sometimes things that are senseless and a waste of time are the ones that come up first. So there you go.
They'll
That's
assure
what
you.
they want people concentrating on.
Yeah, YouTube will certainly assure you that it's not on purpose. Anyway, I do have
Okay.
your Mythos decoded site open here
Thanks,
also.
Daniel.
We'll include all of that underneath here, and I look forward to watching some of your videos in a moment after we're done
Excellent.
shooting this one.
All
And
right, well, it was good talking to you.
yeah, thanks for stopping by. And what do you think of the T-shirt design? Would you buy that for, say, I don't know, $25 USD?
I guess, yes. It looks really nice.
Well, we had to put you on the spot there, so couldn't resist. But
yeah, of course. Why not? It's cool. I like it.
But anyway, for the viewers, there's the design. I'm actually displaying it on the screen now on the shirt, and then we've also got the full size version here.
Nice.
And those are the two images that I sent you on the Electric View chat. So
yeah, I saw them.
That right there is what
sweet.
we're expecting it to look like. Hopefully it'll be a hit. I mean, and the real reasoning behind it is Gareth and I, and I'm sure many other people, think it's hilarious, the naming conventions of these objects. And that's why we have Cygnus A on there, you know, being the second strongest radio source in the sky, only second to the sun, and possibly Jupiter during certain portions of magnetospheric operation. But you know, the second strongest radio source in the sky is just totally arbitrarily named because when it was discovered, they're just like, hey, that strong radio source in Cygnus, let's just call it Cygnus A. And then somebody really imaginatively, pardon the sarcasm, named it 3C405. I mean, you know, it's a very famous galaxy, you know, because it has that two-lobed radio jet appearance to it, and you're looking like across the torus of the center. You know, it's almost like a perfectly edge-on sort of a scenario with that galaxy.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
So I thought it might be interesting, and you know, perhaps it'll get somebody reading up on cosmology, perhaps, right?
Yeah. Well done.
So we'll see.
I wish you luck on your endeavors, and be talking to you soon.
Yeah, thanks. I'll be talking to you soon too. And anything else you want to plug or talk about?
Well, no, just have people, encourage them to go to sources, ancient sources, and even if everything is not perfect, because everything has some propaganda to it, at least they get an idea from a different point of view than just going and listening to somebody's video. I mean, they should listen to my videos, but then they should go and do their own research and then to the sources as old as they can find, and then make up their own mind if they think the information is interesting. That's what I suggest.
Sounds good to me. All right, well, thanks again, and look for the video going up soon.
Thank you.
Should be uploaded to YouTube and into BitChute in about an hour or so.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Tess.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. So I don't know what you guys think. I wouldn't mind purchasing this shirt, and I'll definitely get one, and I'll model it here. You know, the first rule about being Batman is you don't talk about being Batman. And where were we? Yeah, I just need some space. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about space. Again, go over and check out Tess's YouTube channel. We're going to be watching some of these videos today. We've had long, in-depth conversations on the Electric View also. Shout out to Neil Thompson. and the rest of the Electric View crew. Now, let's talk about some comedy. Flat Earth 101. Now, we were making some facetious video earlier today about how space is fake, and obviously we don't really think space is fake. And so we just wanted to cause some laughs on this lovely holiday weekend. Flat Earth 101 talking about the fake moon landing. Oh, check it out. Oh my goodness, the fake moon landing. NASA's lying to you folks. That woman's not really floating, she's tethered or something, is what they're trying to say, I think. Let's talk about the top 10 flat earth proofs. Let's go through it, as it's not even necessary to debunk it, just to laugh. Here's the firmament and the sky dome, where the sun and the moon just rotate around in circles. Balloon, 100,000 foot balloon, shows that the earth is flat, and I didn't even put this in Photoshop or anything to draw a straight line. I really don't care. They're stating, what they're stating is that NASA is using curved lenses to make the planet appear curved. Airplanes dipping their nose. Now, airplanes dipping their nose is built into the GPS software that tells the plane where it is and where to fly, so this is just complete nonsense. The law of perspective, suggesting that we can't see objects 238,000 miles away when the sun's actually 93 million miles away. Flat earthers are going to tell you that it's 3,500 miles away or something like that, and 47 miles in diameter or some nonsense like that. Water finds its level, although when you put it in space, it just forms into a sphere due to its own surface tension properties. And yeah, it finds its level when it's not in microgravity. And since the Earth exists in microgravity, let's not even say anything else. Here's an image allegedly 60 miles away from Chicago across Lake Michigan, and it looks like the bottom of the buildings are covered up by the Earth's curvature. So once again, flat earthers taking photographs of the planet and proving their own theory incorrect. Plane flights, they take these routes because of needing to sell tickets, because there are very few people that make certain flights, and that's why they fly those paths. They're suggesting that if the globe was like this, shaped like a pizza, with Antarctica stretching all the way around, that the flight is actually straighter, and that's the reason that the flight goes that way, is to conserve fuel. Perhaps we'll do an Ask a Pilot segment about if he thinks the Earth is flat, as he's probably never seen it because he's never been in space. Jet streams, they show an extreme meridional jet stream flow, and then they show a 10 hectopascal image like you would see on Null School, which is not even the same thing on I don't know, I guess jet streams prove the Earth is flat somehow, even though jet streams are produced by the Hall effect and the magnetic fields that the sun imparts on the planet and vice versa. Crepuscular, sun rays, something about the parallel nature of the rays, yada yada yada. Gravity, and while gravity and mass are not understood in real world physics, this is I don't know what their reasoning is for this. And boats, which as they sail away, and you can even see it in this image, as they sail away, you can see the bottom of the hull of the boat is already below the curvature, unlike this image. If they would have showed in between here and here, you'd be able to see just the masts. But they still failed, because you can see the bottom of the hull in this image, but not in this image, because the curvature of the Earth is covering it up. So yeah, that's what's up with the flat Earth, and here's what the jet streams look like. And if you'd like a Space is Fake shirt, please don't buy a Space is Fake shirt and support these dum-dums, because it's just ridiculous. I mean, have you ever heard of the Himawari satellite? Let's take a look. And here's the last images from the Himawari 8, a satellite located at such a great distance that it can photograph the entire planet all at once. And there it is. You can see the sunrise about to happen in New Zealand there, and Hawaii. I don't see what's so complicated about it. And again, we were just kidding, folks. Space ain't fake. Now, when I was looking for the images that I was using, and of course that's a public domain image that I'm using there for the t-shirt design, I found this website, and we're going to actually contact this website, which is run by somebody by the name of Shannon Sims, and there's fantastic information and visuals on here for you to share with your friends and foes. But check out what she says about Cygnus A, massive radio galaxy 3C405. She has it broken down into the mainstream astronomy description and the alternative description, which states, and I quote, "A rotating galactic scale magnetic field powered by two or more enormously powerful extragalactic electric currents accelerates charged particles into subliminal speeds in opposite directions. These opposing jets of plasma emit synchrotron radiation in the form of radio waves and X-rays. The object's high redshift is due to photons traveling through a hot, sparse electron plasma." What a breath of fresh air. Plasma Pics. Plasma Pics. Plasma.pics. I thought it was plasmapics.com. It's plasma.pics. Don't send contact. Just go to the learn portion. If you need to talk to Ms. Sims, and we're going to be trying to contact Ms. Sims shortly. But until then, keep in mind that when it comes to radio sources, perspective is everything. So we've left links to this Britannica article about radio sources. We're talking about the astronomical type of radio sources. And like I say, perspective is everything, folks. The reason that we use this image is because, well, there's a great example of somebody misdiagramming the image. Check this out. So this is super interesting because this image mislabels the torus. Look at this. You're looking at the torus from the edge, and they've got the torus as this area. Just unbelievable. This jet's labeled correctly. They're labeling the torus as this stuff and the actual torus as inner jets. So I don't know what's up with that, but let me just explain. The real torus is this sheath of dust around the massive radio source. I'm not going to say black hole. I'm just going to say massive radio source because we can test with actual science that it's a massive radio source, and that's why we've been calling them massive radio sources and not black holes since the mid-90s. It all comes down to perspective, and this is a similar perspective to the one being viewed from Cygnus A. This whole area is the torus, and all of this plasma aligns in this area because of the magnetic fields. In other words, from this view, those two red dots in the center, those would be these areas right here, not the shell surrounding the overall mechanism. This is like a zoomed in version. Anyway, let's just go on to talk about the Keck telescope. The Keck Observatory, rather, has this interesting image of Cygnus A. I've never seen that one, but we'll be looking into it more in depth, and we've left links to all of these tabs. Again, there's that torus. What do you think of the shirt, folks? Please leave a comment. We're probably going to be charging about $25 USD for this high quality black cotton t-shirt. It's only going to come in large and extra large. Here's the full res image of what it'll look like. So smAsho staff, get back to the salt mine, smAsho staff, because it's time to build up smAshomash.org. It's intentionally blank, but not for long, folks. And stay tuned for our traditional bonus, a feature. And thanks for tuning in, Smash team, and those who attended the premiere. Cheers. Before the bonus feature, please go over to Tess Mythos, press like and subscribe, press the notification bell, and check out the videos on this brand new YouTube channel, as well as checking out her website, Mythos Decoded. And it's the last 48 hours of our local yellow dwarf in 335 angstroms, courtesy of the SDO website. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Do you need more space? Help support our channel. Patreon.com/smAsho. We are out. Have a lovely weekend. Don't get involved in a brawl in a store. And since it'll never be now again, take a look at that object and endeavor to understand the physics behind it.